Something that's been on my ever-growing list of creative things to do is design my website. I do have a card site, but right now it acts more like a digital business card, and that's about it. To avoid overwhelming myself making an entirely new website from scratch, I'm going to give my card site a makeover, adding in a couple more pages and making it feel a bit more personal to me. So, let's chat about how I went from this to this. Let's jump into it. Hey, my name is Jade and I like to paint with pixels. The first step for me was to look at existing websites and see what aspects I liked and what sort of layouts were possible using Card's website builder. I found this channel that does tutorials on really creative setups, like making a music player or an interactive Instagram post, which inspired me to put my own spin on my card. I saw a few artist pages that I really liked, from one with a big central illustration with a couple of pages, to a more minimal and simpler layout, which both felt like they fit their artist styles really well. Based on this, I sketched out a couple of layouts that I liked, and I ended up with something sort of in the middle, that had a couple of pages to include a small bio and a mini gallery of what I'm working on currently, but also still keeps that simple layout that I liked more when the site was a bit more minimal. Next, I tried to make up a mockup in PicSquare of at least the homepage, as this will include most of the elements that we'll have with the other pages as well. I wanted to combine a lot of the visual elements that I use in both my videos and my streams. I started this art account wanting to combine my love of stationery and pixel art in some way. Combining physical media and digital has always been something that interested me. I'm not sure why, I think for me there's an appeal to make digital art feel a bit more tangible. Also, pixel art is tied to video games, so I think there's a bit of that inspiration in there as well, just sort of combining all of my hobbies and interests into one blob? There's a better word for this, I'm sure, but that's why I try to make the font look more handwritten and have highlighters running through the writing and doodles dotted around. For me, it makes it feel quite nostalgic in a way. I really enjoyed making the little commissions button. I'm still in the process of figuring out what I would want to offer for this, but I still wanted it to be considered as part of the layout on the site and also act as a tiny bit of coming soon marketing as well. So I added one of my little characters in a construction outfit and placed some traffic cones around the words to sort of highlight that it was still a work in progress. I wanted to include a little about page, introducing myself, and also include some sort of portrait on the site as well. Nowadays, I'm a pretty private person, so I didn't want to include an actual photo of myself, but I thought my character that I've used in both my streams and my videos now would be a good fit for this. I wanted to stick with the journal scrapbook vibe that I have and turn the portrait into a Polaroid that she's taken and sort of stuck onto the page, with some extra stickers. In a lot of my drawings back a couple of years ago now, they were framed as if they were Polaroids and stuck up with some washi tape, so I wanted to have that sort of callback to where I started and mix it in with the characters and designs that I use now. It's actually been a few months since I last drew her, so it was nice to draw her again, especially after my portrait practice. Though drawing faces at a slight angle in pixel art? Super tricky. I don't know why I decided that was the pose we're going for, but I think we got there in the end. The stickers are sort of a new addition to the visual elements that I use. They're mostly on my schedules, but I really like the look of them. What's nice is that they mainly reuse my sub badges that I've made in the past, and just by giving them a double outline of white and then a grey outline on top of that, gives it sort of that printed on sticker paper look with a slight shadow on the edge of it. But I really like the look of these, so expect to see them a lot more in future projects. Once we finished with the visual elements, we started to put it together in card. I started with a completely blank template because I sort of figured out what sort of layout I wanted with the sketches beforehand. In terms of actual setup, it was a lot less intimidating putting everything together. The majority of the website is just the images that I've made, so it was really like placing Lego blocks and stacking everything together. The biggest chunk of time spent on this, I think, was adjusting it for mobile devices, because when I switched it over, it definitely needed some adjustments. And it's nice that Card has this built in already so that you can preview it in both desktop and mobile formats. I feel like more often it would be viewed on a mobile device anyways, so we had to make sure to adjust how things were stacked and make sure that things like the text weren't too small when it got switched over to a smaller screen. Originally, I had a lot of doodles and scribbles on the background page, similar to how I decorate my schedules for every month. But in this context, it felt a bit cluttered, and it felt like it was distracting from the main content, which was at the center of the page. So I ended up keeping it to a plain grid paper for the background, and I think it works quite well here. Do you think it looks better with the doodles? Let me know in the comments. I did run into a couple limitations with using Card. When I was finally testing out the buttons I made for the homepage, I found that the images couldn't really overlap over one another. So with the commission button being way taller because of my little character on the side and the little work in progress doodle, it left a noticeable gap in between this button and the button above. I ended up adjusting the design a bit, so it still has some elements of the under construction vibe with the traffic cones, but instead of the character, which I was sad to part with, I also added a little post-it note which said work in progress. This still feels very fitting because I use a lot of post-it notes in my stream setup and in a couple of the videos that I've done as just like little notes to myself. Since I'm using the free version of Card, I ran into the max limit of elements that you can use on the site when I was putting everything together. But I actually think that this was sort of a good thing for me. For the longest time, and a big reason why I've been putting this whole redesign off, is because I would overwhelm myself with way too many things to add to the website. I had big thoughts of making it super interactive and have a blog to keep all my current projects and share the process, and a place to show all my commission information, even though I hadn't started to offer them yet. But none of that's really necessary right now, but also out of the scope of what I can manage workload-wise. So having a website builder be like, hey, you can't place any more things, please keep it simple, was actually the thing that I needed to finish this. Even though it's a very simple website, it's still done, and it feels a lot more like me. I feel proud and excited to share this now with others. With a couple of adjustments, here is the final result. I'm really happy with how this new website looks. It feels way more personal to me, and it's nice that it has both callbacks to where I started with my art journey, and also what I'm drawing currently and what my style is like now. It's like my little place on the internet that's not competing with social media algorithms, and just a place for me to keep some of my current projects going. I know eventually I would like to have everything in one place on its own website, but for now, this feels like a really good step for the capacity that I have now. The link for it, of course, is in the description if you'd like to take a look yourself. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the design of my PNG tuber, check out this video here, where we go through the whole process of designing her and setting her up. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care out there. Goodbye!